After the phase of anchoring and fixing the insulating boards, start working on the corners, the windows and the door openings. First, trim off all surplus material at the external corners. When cutting corners, precision is vital in order to achieve edges that are as straight and vertical as possible. If no additional anchoring has been used on the building and EPS boards have been used for the thermal insulation, all the surfaces are ground mechanically or manually. Mechanical grinding is recommended with simultaneous vacuuming. However, if additional anchoring has been employed, the surfaces should be ground before anchoring the insulating boards. When treating window opening corners, first fix a PVC drip profile to the upper horizontal window reveal. Due to its form, the drip profile prevents water from dripping from the facade surface toward the window frame. Reinforce the vertical edges of window openings with PVC or aluminium mesh corner profiles. First, apply adhesive mortar to the whole surface where the corner profile will be fixed, and only then imprint the corner fixing and submerge the reinforcing mesh into the adhesive. The use of corner fittings is recommended on all corners of the building, especially where mechanical damage is possible to the corners. By using corner fittings, precisely made edges are ensured. This is important for the appearance of the final product. Corners of all facade openings, and also those into which there will be various installations and other boxes installed, should be additionally diagonally reinforced with pieces of UB mesh size 30 by 50 cm or 50 by 50 cm. As a result, if suitable treatment of all corners of the building is done with corner profiles, drip profiles and diagonal reinforcement mesh before making the base render, the facade will withstand all the loads which arise during use. Before starting the application of base render, it is advisable to protect the building with facade curtains. These curtains provide protection of the building against wind, precipitation and direct sunlight, and thus against an increase of the temperature of the surface onto which the facade materials will be applied. The base coat is made 2 to 3 days after fixing insulating boards or after constructing the corner fittings. Mortar compound is applied manually with a notched steel smoothing trowel. It's very important to apply the adhesive mortar to the whole surface where the reinforcing mesh will be applied, as application of adhesive mortar over the reinforcing mesh is not acceptable under any circumstances. The mesh is imprinted into the freshly applied coat of adhesive mortar, first at the top where point fastening is employed. Then it is fixed in a vertical line exactly in the middle, and then horizontally left and right from the vertical line. In such a manner, wrinkling of the reinforcement mesh is avoided. After imprinting the mesh into fresh adhesive mortar, the former must not be visible on the surface. The base render is mixed and applied as continuously as possible. For this, it is important to have a sufficient number of workers, or at least one on each story. Reinforcing mesh is always applied from the top story toward the lower ones. Vertical joins between the meshes must be at least 10 centimeters. The mesh is also applied over windows and then cut after the base coat has partially dried. It's cut at a 45-degree angle in order to avoid shredding of the cut part of the mesh. Mortar compound can also be applied mechanically by spraying, a method which is mostly conducted on larger buildings. It is essential that with boards of expanded polystyrene, the lower coat of adhesive mortar is applied 2 mm thick, whereas the base coat on boards made of mineral wool, it should be 3 to 4 mm thick. The reinforcement mesh must be positioned in the upper third of the reinforcement coat in order to be able to withstand, in combination with the adhesive mortar, the temperature load on the facade surface. 1 day after applying the first coat of adhesive mortar and imprinting reinforcement mesh, the top coat of the base coat is applied 1 mm thick, whereas with boards made of mineral wool up to 2 mm thick. Thus, the combined thickness of the reinforcing coat on EPS boards should be 3 mm, with the insulation from rock wool or lamellas 5 mm. The base render drying phase follows, which in normal conditions is 3 to 7 days, which is approximately 1 day per millimetre. In the autumn and winter period, there is a problem of temperatures dropping below zero during night time, which is not good during the hardening of any cement binder. Therefore, it's advisable to use protective curtains on the building.